All right, let's just dive right in. For decades, Robert Greene has basically been the code breaker for how the world really works. So today we're going to boil down his biggest ideas on power, on seduction, and on the fundamental blueprint of human nature itself.
And right off the bat, his work hits you with this really uncomfortable question. See, the thing is, whether you want to admit it or not, we are all in a game. A big, complex social game. You don't get to choose if you play. Your only choice is, are you going to learn the rules, or are you just going to be a piece on someone else's board?
And this quote, it just nails his whole point. Look, technology changes, fashion changes, but people, we pretty much stay the same. I mean, think about it. The backstabbing and alliances in some ancient royal court. Is it really that different from your office politics today? Instead of sealed letters, you've got sneaky emails. But the game, the envy, the jockeying for position, it's exactly the same. It's timeless.
Okay, so if we're all playing this game of power, what's the prize? What even is power? According to Greene, most of us have got it totally backwards.
And this is where he completely flips the script. You see, we're all taught to think power is external, right? It's about controlling other people, dominating them. But Greene says, nope, wrong. Real power, that's internal. It's about social intelligence, for sure. It's about having agency over your own life. But the biggest piece of the puzzle? It's having absolute control over yourself, your emotions, your impulses, your reactions.
So here's the bottom line. Power isn't about your job title or the money in your bank account. It's a feeling. It's that deep, gut-level human need to not feel helpless. It's the feeling that you're actually the one driving your own car, you know?
And this is the crazy part. I mean, think about a time you felt totally powerless. Maybe at work, maybe in a relationship. That feeling sucks, right? Well, Greene says that feeling, that powerlessness, is way more toxic and corrupting than actually having power. Because that's where all the nasty stuff comes from. The resentment, the passive-aggressive comments, all of it. So for him, wanting power isn't greedy. It's actually about striving for psychological health.
So that leads us to the next logical step. If you want to gain control over your life, you have to know what you're working with. You have to take a hard look at your own psychological blueprint. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
And a huge part of that blueprint is something Greene talks about all the time. Every single one of us has a dark side, a shadow. And you know what the biggest mistake we can make is? Pretending it doesn't exist.
I mean, look at these words. Narcissism, aggression, envy. We tend to think only like comic book villains have these traits, but that's not it at all. These are primal forces wired into every single one of us. It's just part of our inheritance as human beings.
So, what does that mean? Are we all just secretly evil deep down? Is this just a super bleak way to look at the world?
And Greene's answer is kind of like a splash of cold water to the face. He says it's neither. These things aren't good or bad. They just are. They're the raw energy, the source code of what it means to be human.
And this is the absolute key to everything. If you ignore your shadow, it owns you. It'll control you in ways you don't even realize. But if you face it, if you become aware of those darker impulses, then you can get a handle on them. You can take that raw, aggressive energy and channel it into something productive, like ambition, instead of letting it leak out as petty jealousy.
Now, this is where things get really interesting, because once you have that deep self-awareness, once you accept your whole self, you unlock the potential for what Greene sees as a much higher, much more elegant form of power, the art of seduction. Okay, first, just forget everything you think seduction means. It's not about cheesy pickup lines or manipulation. Let me ask you this. When was the last time someone really listened to you? I mean, just listened, without already planning what they were going to say next. That feeling of being totally seen and heard, that is the core of seduction. It's the rare ability to shut down your own inner monologue and actually enter someone else's world for a minute.
And this just lays it all out, right? The anti-seductive person is like a black hole of neediness. They're always preaching, always needing you to validate them. But the seductive person, they operate from a place of generosity, of genuine curiosity about you. And look at that huge difference between insecurity and vulnerability. Insecurity is all about me. What do you think of me? But true vulnerability, that's about being open to seeing who the other person really is. And that kind of openness is incredibly magnetic.
So we've got the inner game, controlling yourself. We've got the outer game, understanding others. But what holds all of this up? What gives it real substance, real weight? Well, that brings us to the foundation of it all, mastery.
Because let's be real, you can smell fake confidence from a mile away. It's just bravado. True, deep confidence. That's not something you can just decide to have. It has to be earned. Think of a master chef or a legendary musician. Their confidence isn't an act. It's the natural result of putting in thousands and thousands of hours. It's built, brick by brick, on a foundation of actual, undeniable skill. And Green lays out this timeless three-step path. First, you have to be an apprentice. Just watch, listen, and absorb everything you can from the people who are already great at what you want to do. Then you move to phase 2. You start doing it yourself. You practice, you fail, you practice some more, you get your hands dirty. And finally, once you know the rules inside and out, you get to the fun part. You start to experiment. You bend the rules and make it your own.
And for anyone out there in their 20s, this is probably the most crucial piece of advice in this whole explainer. Ask yourself right now, are you prioritizing learning or earning? Because choosing that job that pays a little bit more but teaches you nothing over an opportunity where you could master a real skill, that is a huge long-term mistake. The skills are what give you real freedom and power down the line, not a tiny bump in your paycheck today.
You know, this idea just flies in the face of our whole life hack, instant gratification culture, doesn't it? Mastery is the long game. It's like a musician who's practiced a song so many times they don't even think about their fingers anymore. It's just in them. The music just flows. That's the goal, to get so good at something that it becomes intuitive, like breathing.
Which brings us right back to this quote. It kind of sums everything up, doesn't it? All of Green's work is built on that one simple, realistic idea. We're just highly evolved primates with ancient instincts who also happen to have smartphones, and we have to figure out how to deal with that.
And look, this is what so many people get wrong about his work. They think he's teaching you to be some evil, manipulative puppet master, but that's not it at all. The goal isn't to pull the strings. The goal is to see the strings, so no one can pull yours. It's a defensive strategy. It's about awareness and ultimately freedom.
So there you have it. Green has handed us the schematics, the psychological blueprint for power, for attraction, for skill. He's revealed the code. So the final question? Well, that's not his to answer. It's yours. Now that you can see the blueprint, what are you going to build?